selection will be, Behold the Lamb of Yah.
The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you, to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's Holy Sabbath day. Our sermon today is the spirit of Sukkah, which is our tabernacles. But what we have to understand is a part about what tabernacling is. And there are some things that have to take place when you deal with the spirit of tabernacling. There's a reason why the things happen in the order that they do. There's a reason why atonement is called the holiest day of the year. Each one of those things fulfill a purpose. Without atonement, there cannot be any tabernacling, and that is a spiritual thing. And without dealing with all of the things that come before it, you end up putting yourself in a situation. So tabernacling then gets to the point of the last holy day. It is set last for a reason. There are other things that have to take place before you can deal with tabernacling, and it's not just a little official party that we get to hang out and do some things. These things actually have redemption things all connected to it, before it and even after it. There's when you look at the thing of tabernacles, it says for a full week, but if you notice, there's an 8th day. What's the 8th day about? See, there's something that happens after tabernacle. But see, when we just think that this has become a hangout thing, we end up missing all of those things, and then we end up focusing on the wrong aspects of what tabernacling is. Let's begin today's sermon in Deuteronomy chapter 12. Before we get to our holy day, I always try to go over some things that explain what that is, because you'd be amazed at sometimes how many people show up at a holy day and really don't understand the holy day that they have shown up to take part of. So we have to go over those things so that we can make sure that there is understanding of what that is. Deuteronomy chapter 12, and let's go ahead and start that at verse 1, brother.
These are the statutes and judgments which you shall observe to do in the land, which Yahweh El of your fathers give you to possess it, all the days that you live upon the earth. You shall utterly destroy all the places wherein the nations which you shall possess serve their gods, upon the high mountains, and upon the hills, and under every green tree.
And under every green tree. Understand that these people worshipped under these trees. So when we start to lean toward doing certain things, we don't understand just how much we've gotten into a place where it bothers Yahweh Elohim. So much, in fact, that a grove is basically what we would call like a Christmas tree. Yahweh said, do not have any groves anywhere near his altar. Now, Yahweh is the same one that created the earth and all that in the midst. He created that. But because these people have gotten to the point where they like to go and worship, and deal with these trees, he says, don't have that anywhere near my altar, because I know what the heathen has done to it. I understand what they've done with it. Go ahead.
Verse 3, and you shall overthrow their altars, and break their pillars, and burn their groves with fire. And you shall hew down the graven images of their gods, and destroy the name of them out of that place. You shall not do so unto Yahweh your Elohim, but unto the place which Yahweh your El shall choose out of all your tribes to put his name there.
And that is where his spirit is. But unto the place which Yahweh your Elohim shall choose out of all your tribes to put his name there. The reason it says out of all the tribes, there's not just one place where Yahweh's name is. So anywhere you learning from somebody and they say that this is the only place where you can hear the truth, you probably into some mess. Because even in this in the rightful status, we all the time see this main temple. Do understand that Israel is scattered. There's 12 tribes. They all can't go to the same place. It take them all week just to get there for the Sabbath. So in all your tribes, in all those various places, even though there may be one main place, in all of the places where I put my name, where the official, where these Levites are, where the priests are, these are the places. And the people have to have a place that is near them, knowing that Israel has this vast amount of land. So consider that, because a lot of times in our head, we read things, but we picture one temple and everybody going to that one. Yeah, everybody in that area. Now, when it comes down to these main things, then you find those people are making their pilgrimage then. But they can't make that pilgrimage every week. Go ahead.
Even unto his habitation shall you seek, and thither you shall come. Verse 6, and thither you shall bring your burnt offerings, and your sacrifices, and your tithes, and heave offerings of your hand, and your vows, and your freewill offerings, and the firstlings of your herds and of your flocks.
Right. So it is the place where Yahweh chose to place his name there, where his spirit is. That's where you bring your offerings, your tithes. So the place where Yahweh has sent you to learn the word, that's where your offering was supposed to be. We had a brother, when we first started, a brother came to us and said, the place where I go, they're not keeping the holy days right. So we're going to come and keep the holy days, with y'all, because y'all holy days are right. So we let him keep talking. The brother said, but my offering is going to go to the other church where I go. I said, well, you need to turn around and you need to go back to that place. Where your offering is, that's where you are saying that Yahweh's name is. That's where you need to be. I need you to turn around and leave out. But I want to keep the holy days here. Well, that place keeping the holy days wrong. That's not my problem. That's the place where you believe Yahweh's name is. That's where you send your offering, according to this, where you believe Yahweh's name is. But you think Yahweh's name just jumped. So it jumped over our place when it got time for the holy days. But it jumped back after the holy days. Well, I'm going to need you to jump back wherever you came from and go there. That's where I'm going to need you to go. And this is how we began our walk in this word. And ain't nothing changed. If you sending money and offerings to somewhere else, that's where you need to be. Go ahead.
Verse 7, Deuteronomy chapter 12 and verse 7. And there you shall eat before Yahweh your Elohim, and you shall rejoice in all that you put your hand unto, you and your households, wherein Yahweh your Elohim has blessed you. You shall not do after all the things that we do here this day, every man whatsoever is right in his own eyes.
Right. It's because when you do everything, whatever you believe in your own eyes, this is how the adversary, the devil, tricks us into, well, this is being directed of the Spirit. The Spirit is leading me to do this. That's every man doing what he feels is right in his own eyes. And then when you feel it's right in your eyes, you feel that it must be all right in Yahweh's too. So now Yahweh is directing you to do all of these things. Why? Because every man is following after what's in his own heart instead of how they're being taught and how they're being directed. And if you're already being directed in more than one place, you can't serve two masters. So if Yahweh sent the Spirit to say one thing here, this is one thing why you have to understand that. Different congregations, even if, let's say, they are a place anointed and blessed of Yahweh, different places have different jobs. If this place have the job to do one thing, ain't no need of Yahweh having a place down the street to do the same thing. No. Y'all need to get these group of people. This place need to get these group of people, and y'all need to take care of this over here. When you go down through this priesthood, they had different jobs. All of them wasn't serving, doing the offerings. You had some brothers that all they did was stand at the door. You had others that took care of all of the holy things. You had others that did. I mean, it was a vast amount of jobs. So having everybody do the same thing serves Yahweh no purpose. But let's say you jump and the Spirit is leading this congregation to do one thing. But then you jump and start listening to another congregation and the Spirit is leading them to do something else. Now you got two manner of spirits leading you. Now, and they can both be of Yahweh. But let's say one of them ain't. Now you're in some big trouble. But you're in trouble even the fact that you're following two spirits. Because one of them is leading one way, which is blessed of Yahweh for those people. And then one is blessed of Yahweh for these people. Now you still got two manner of spirits directing you. See, there's a reason why when they have a meeting in a company, they separate them by departments. They got a meeting for the mechanics. They got a meeting for the salespeople. You notice the mechanics ain't in the sales meeting, right? Okay, he don't give a damn about the profit margin. Look, man. Look, man. Did the car work? All right, well, we're straight. I don't need to know about the numbers, man. I don't need to know about your profit ratio. Did the transmission work? I mean, we put the transmission in there. Did it work? Yeah, it worked. Wait, man. I'm out. I don't need to be in this meeting now because now y'all talking about how much money we got in versus how much we spent out. I don't need to know that. This. You need to talk to the managers. I'm up in the wrong meeting. There's a reason why they don't just mix those meetings up and just have one big meeting where they talk about everything. That way you keep people on focus on what their job is instead of worrying about what everybody else doing. Go ahead.
Verse 9. For you are not as yet come to the rest, to the inheritance, which Yahweh your Elohim gives you. But when you go over Jordan, and dwell in the land which Yahweh your Elohim gives you to inherit, and when he gives you rest from all your enemies round about, so that you dwell in safety, then there shall be a place which Yahweh your Elohim shall choose to cause his name to dwell there. Thither shall you bring all that I command you, your burnt offerings, and your sacrifices, your tithes, and the heave offering of your hand, and all your choice vows which you vow unto Yahweh.
Right. You notice Yahweh has to say the same thing over and over? Because he know Israel. I used to wonder, why would he say that? Sometimes I would question myself. Why would I say that again? I just said it. Right, because I got it from Yahweh. He will say something, he'll say something else, then he'll go right back and say that again, and then he'll say something, and then he'll come right back and say that again. And you're like, why does he do that? Does Yahweh have ADD or something? No, Israel does. Israel got spiritual attention deficit disorder, okay? We got spiritual ADD, because we all over the place. He got to, all right, remember now. Okay, now, remember now. Okay, yeah, remember now. He got to keep dealing with us because this is how we operate. Go ahead.
And you shall rejoice before Yahweh Elohim, you and your sons and your daughters, and your men servants, and your maid servants, and the Levite that is within your gates, for as much as he hath no part nor inheritance with you. Take heed to yourself that you offer not your burnt offering in every place that you see it.
Okay, read that again, bro.
Take heed to yourself that you offer not your burnt offerings in every place that you see it.
And we will turn around and listen to somebody's story and send them some money in a minute. And they teaching nothing but foul, damnable heresies. And you know what you're doing? You're justifying wickedness. Because now they have more power to do that wickedness because of the offering that you sent. Let's move it on another level. If your cousin Pookie down the street is selling dope and you give him some money to buy the dope, you part of that criminal enterprise.
You can say, well, look, Your Honor, I didn't have no sack of crack with me per se, but I did buy the crack in wholesale.
Well, you part of the criminal enterprise. It's time to go to prison, Jack. What's the problem? That's how that works. You ain't got to actually get caught. They call it RICO. That's the conspiracy. You go to jail. You don't get to support negativity and it's still okay. That's called justifying wickedness. And you don't justify wickedness for nobody. Not your mama, not your daddy, not your brother, not your sister, not for nobody. Go ahead.
But in the place which Yahweh shall choose in one of your tribes, there you shall offer your burnt offerings, and there you shall do all that I command you. Notwithstanding, you may kill and eat flesh in all your gates, whatsoever your soul lust after, according to the blessing of Yahweh your Elohim which he has given you. The unclean and the clean may eat thereof, as of the roebuck and as of the hart. Only you shall not eat the blood, you shall pour it upon the earth as water. You may not eat within your gates the tithe of your corn, or of your wine, or of your oil, or the firstlings of your herds, or of your flock, nor any of your vows which you vowed, nor your freewill offerings, or heave offerings of your hand. But you must eat them before Yahweh your Elohim in the place which Yahweh your Elohim shall choose.
Right. So you don't get to spread your tithes anywhere you want to. Well, I think this is cool over here. I think that's cool down there. Go ahead.
You and your son and your daughter and your manservant and your maidservant and the Levite that is within your gates, and you shall rejoice before Yahweh your Elohim in all that you putteth your hands unto. Take heed to yourself that you forsake not the Levite as long as you liveth upon the earth.
So the Levite is the priest. You take careful consideration that you do not forsake the priest. Well, if you taking offerings and sending them elsewhere, how are you not forsaking the Levite? How are you not forsaking the priest? The priesthood was opened up to other tribes of Israel other than Levi. So how are you not forsaking them? Go ahead.
Verse 20. When Yahweh Elohim shall enlarge your border, as he has promised you, and you shall say, I will eat flesh, because your soul longs to eat flesh, you may eat flesh, whatsoever your soul lust after. If the place which Yahweh Elohim hath chosen to put his name there be too far from you, then you shall kill of your herd and of your flock, which Yahweh has given you, as I have commanded you. and you shall eat it in your gates, whatsoever your soul lust after.
So then he tells you, okay, if it is too far for you to get there. Now we got oxen that got 232 horsepower. Our oxen can go across town like it ain't nothing. Right? Read, man.
Even as the roebuck and the hart is eaten, so you shall eat them. The unclean and the clean shall eat of them alike. Only be sure that you eat not the blood, for the blood is the life, and you may not eat the life with the flesh. You shall not eat it. You shall pour it upon the earth as water. You shall not eat it, that it may go well with you and with your children after you, when you shall do that which is right in the sight of Yahweh.
So once again, he keeps saying this thing here, you shall not eat the blood with the flesh. And to this day, you got to go and fight with people in the restaurant to make them cook something well done. Now, how many people are able to see that when they look at the little commercial? I know Winn-Dixie got one where they show you all thick, juicy cuts of meat, and it just brown right on the top. And then they cut it in the middle, and they say, oh, it's juicy. And you see all that red blood flowing right out of there. Now, this is something that kids have been seeing all their life. So you got kids that's sitting there looking at that saying, that's a juicy steak. No, that's a bloody steak, little boy. But how many people are able to put that in their brain after seeing this commercial their entire life? That commercial been running for 20-something years. I've been seeing that commercial since I was a child. And they still run the same things. The same thing is in the paper. They'll send that paper to your house, and it got that big bloody piece of meat on it. I mean, it's brown on the top, like they just put it in there and they went, shh. All right, turn it over. Shh. All right, pull it out. Wait a minute. I only heard two shh. Something wrong now. It was about 5 seconds of shh, and it was out. Then they cut it in the middle and took a picture. Look at that juicy steak. Well, understand, this has been in our people's brain over and over and over and over. So when you start talking about this, they don't connect that to what they've seen. You got to read this and then connect it. Okay, you remember that commercial that Winn-Dixie had? Yeah. You know that juicy red stuff in that? Yeah, that's blood. What? Because you can say this, but there's no connection. And we still have this issue. Because most of the time, it'll be us that's arguing with us. Where every time we would go to break the fast, we would go out to like Golden Corral or something like that. And I'm glad we didn't go this year. Because the amount of money that I would spend for my family, we fed the whole camp. That show you how much money. But they've been getting a grip from us. We was able to feed the whole camp for what we, that stuff add up. So they was getting thousands when we walked in there. They was like, yeah, boy, I don't know what holy day it is, but we feel holy too. Yeah, come on in here. Drop that bread, Jack. Right. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 12 and verse 26. Only your holy things which you have and your vows you shall take, and go on to the place which Yahweh shall choose.
Into the place where Yahweh shall choose. So Yahweh has order about what he does. Go ahead.
You know, even with that, you go verse 21 tells you if the place is too far. But then verse 26, he comes back and say, in your holy things, you still need to go to that place.
Hey, then we find in certain parts of the book, we start reading things where it says, I must by all means make this trip. Why you got to make that trip? Right. Go ahead.
Verse 27, and you shall offer your burnt offerings, the flesh and the blood, upon the altar of Yahweh your Elohim, and the blood of your sacrifices shall be poured out upon the altar of Yahweh your Elohim, and you shall eat the flesh. Observe and hear all these words which I command you, that it may go well with you, and with your children after you forever, when you does that which is good and right in the sight of Yahweh your Elohim.
When you do that which is right in the sight of Yahweh your Elohim. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 16. Let's read verses 9 through 17. Deuteronomy chapter 16, in verses 9 through 17.
7 weeks shall you number unto you. Begin to number the 7 weeks from such time as you begin to put the sickle to the corn.
Right. Our holy days are agricultural days because Yahweh is providing our sustenance, the things that we need for us. Because we are very detached from our land and even detached from the whole part of growing anything, a lot of these things are lost in the translation. Not just because, you know, you don't know some original language. No, because how many of us are really farming? That was something, it was a little bit of some kind of field that every person had right next to their house. You'd have a garden regardless. You didn't have to have 50 acres to have no garden. Now we put a basketball court there. Go ahead, bro.
And you shall keep the feast of weeks unto Yahweh your Elohim with a tribute of a freewill offering of your hand, which you shall give unto Yahweh your Elohim, according as Yahweh your Elohim blessed you. And you shall rejoice before Yahweh your Elohim, you and your son and your daughter and your manservant and your maidservant and the Levite that is within your gates, and the stranger and the fatherless and the widow that are among you, in the place which Yahweh your Elohim hath chosen to place his name there.
You see, Yahweh kind of go, he know Israel. So he keeps going over and over, saying the same thing. But it still don't help, Jake. It don't matter how many times he say it. Go ahead.
And you shall remember that you was a bondman in Egypt, and you shall observe and do these statutes. You shall observe the Feast of Tabernacles 7 days, after that you have gathered in your corn and your wine. And you shall rejoice in your feast, you and your son and your daughter and your manservant and your maidservant, and the Levite, the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow that are within your gates.
So all of these people that live around, they understand your culture, even though some of them are not you. They are a part of what you have had to use as far as work to help get all of these produce and all of these things in. Well, they get to rejoice with you too. Go ahead.
7 days shall you keep a solemn feast unto Yahweh your Elohim in the place which Yahweh shall choose. Because Yahweh your Elohim shall bless you in all your increase and in all the works of your hands. Therefore you shall surely rejoice. 3 times in a year shall all your males appear before Yahweh your Elohim in the place which he shall choose. In the feast of unleavened bread, and in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of tabernacles. And they shall not appear before Yahweh empty.
Now, these are the days of where the appearances are. These are not all of the holy days. These holy days have a setup where that it goes according to everything that must be fulfilled here in the earth. So you have these 7 holy days. There was a reason why we have 7 golden candlesticks, why we have why there are 7 spirits. All of these things make sense. Did you finish that?
Every man shall give as he's able, according to the blessing of Yahweh your Elohim, which he has given you.
Okay, so you make an appearance 3 times in the year. This is our last appearance that we are going to make on the first day of Tabernacles, which is going to be Sunday night. All right, this is something very important unto Yahweh. As we kept reading, in the place where Yahweh chose to place his name. So even though they were able to do these other things, when it was time for them to make their appearance, they have to show up, make their appearance, and bring their gift that they offer unto Yahweh according to how Yahweh has blessed them. So, as we have read before, you sanctify yourselves against the 3rd day. Friday, you should already have been sanctified for you to come here. Then you got Saturday night, which is tonight. No cohabitation. Do I need to explain that for anybody in here? El no sleepo in regular bedo. How about that? Did we get it? Okay. So, all right, brother. See. Okay, good. Good, good. So then by Sunday night, you are sanctified against the third day. You can make your appearance. Okay? So this is a serious thing. So serious, we get into to Job. We see that the angels are making their appearance just like us, and Lucifer comes also. So the same one that tries to get us to break all the rules still goes and makes his appearance. Check that out. If you don't think it is important, why Lucifer there? If it ain't important, what he showing up for? But he gonna try his best to deceive you. He gonna put out as many doctrines as he possibly can in deception. But he gonna be there right there standing in front of Yahweh. And then he gonna be asking him, where Kish at? Kish ain't come? I figured I was gonna get him. I told him he don't need to even come. Boy, he's stupid. Yeah, I got it. Right. Right, he gonna be laughing at you. Oh, loose leg. Loose leg. Did you finish that, bro?
Yes.
Let's go to Leviticus chapter 23. Leviticus chapter 23, and we're going to read verses 33 through 44.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, The 15th day of this 7th month shall be the feast of tabernacles for 7 days unto Yah. On the first day shall be an holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein.
So in the 15th day, you have to look at, first of all, the setup of Yahweh's holy days. In the beginning, there are basically like 3 days, 3 of those holy days set together. Then you have one sitting in the middle. Then you have 3 more holy days set forth at the end. So the 7th month is very busy. And then he has the 7th holy day in the 7th month. He didn't make any mistakes. He know exactly what he's doing and why it's set up that way. Go ahead.
Verse 36. 7 days you shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yah. On the 8th day shall be an holy convocation unto you.
Now you got an 8th day. So there's something else going on. Your Feast of Tabernacles, it says what? 7 days unto Yahweh. So what's the 8th day? Why would he say 7 days and then say on the 8th day? What are we doing on the 8th day? What is the 8th day in representation of? See, this is all, understand, you got 1,000 years of peace. Then you got something that happened after that. See, a lot of times, man, we're dealing with people and they really don't understand what these things are in representation of. So when you mess them up, you really don't understand the significance of what that means. We're just not hanging out. And especially dealing with that Christian dogma, they don't think any of this relates to Christ. All of it relates to Christ. Every bit of it. They only want to keep Pentecost because that's where they can teach speaking in tongues. But think about it. You got to do Passover, unleavened bread, and first fruits before you even get to that. Go ahead.
And you shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yah. It is a solemn assembly, and you shall do no servile work therein. These are the feast of Yahweh which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire unto Yah, a burnt offering and a meat offering, a sacrifice and drink offerings, everything upon his day. Besides the Shabbats of Yahweh, and besides your gifts, and beside all your vows, and beside all your freewill offerings, which you give unto Yah. Also in the 15th day of the 7th month, when you have gathered in the fruit of the land, you shall keep a feast unto Yahweh 7 days. On the first day shall be a Shabbat, and on the 8th day shall be a Shabbat. And you shall take you on the first day the boughs of goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and the boughs of thick trees, and willows of the brook, and you shall rejoice before Yahweh your Elohim 7 days.
Now, because of this verse here, because of the things that you're going to make these booths out of, somehow Tabernacles has now turned into a camping trip, because they see that you take the boughs of goodly trees, that you take these things, and now we got people going out, leading people out in the woods, saying this is how you keep tabernacles. Look at the graphic that's there. It is a very, very good, and I praise Yahweh for the gift that Lael has in doing these graphics and putting some of these things together. You see the temple, and then you look at all of the things of those people having to camp around the temple. They're not going in the woods. Why? First of all the males got to make their appearance. They ain't making their appearance under no big trees. They making their appearance in the place where Yahweh chose to place his name there. So that's where they have to camp out. They got to be in that place. So they're making all of their things around there. It's real simple. I don't know how many people was on the way here. All of a sudden, there's a whole lot of traffic just on the way here. Well, think about when they had one of them foosball games. And you're trying to get a hotel, you ain't going to get in there. Because they go early when they getting ready to get them foosball games when all the hotel rooms is gone. Imagine if everybody coming to town for the same thing. All of Israel. How fast you think the hotel's gonna fill up? First of all, you know they're gonna price gouge. Cause they know they were like, Feast of Tabernacle. So wait a minute. Oh, y'all gotta come. You know what? They're going $400 a night for this room. Man, that room is $39.99. I'm talking about the roach motels is gonna be trying to charge you some money. Man, I don't even want to stay in this place. It's so horrible. But once they know everybody want it, price gonna go up. Yahweh said, no, I got you. I got you. Everybody ain't gonna be able to make merchandise of each other. Come take care of this business. Take all of these things, put them together, because you still got to come in here and make your appearance. And if you read in other places, it says, if you do what I tell you to do, when it's time for you to go up to make your appearance, I'm going to make sure that no man desires your land. What? Why would he say that? Because you got to leave. What do you think happened if a thief sitting there watching, hey man, where everybody going? Hey man, why all of them leaving? They going where? So you mean to me ain't nobody in the house? Didn't they have a 55-inch flat screen? High definition? That thing gonna be gone when you get back, Jack. Yahweh, Yahweh say, I got you. You do what you supposed to do. I'm gonna make sure that nobody even desire your stuff when you gone. Check that out. Go ahead.
And I think you considering, like you just said, the price gouging. You going for 7-8 days actually.
Hey, look, no. That's how long you gotta be there. That ain't how long you gone.
Yep.
Come on now. Come on. If you set up 7 days, come on, you got to leave first because you got to get there. Hey, they ain't got no mass transit. It ain't like they ain't got Spirit Airlines, so you can't catch that Spirit and get over there. All right, so you got to start before, and you got a set time to come back. So now it's longer than that. But go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
And the thief knows you're gonna be gone for a while too. Hey,
yes.
He can clear out day by day.
Oh my goodness,
I ain't in
boy.
no rush to take everything.
Boy, he come in there and try out the sofa. Look at that. No, this one too soft. And go. Oh no, that one too firm. He can sleep in each one of the beds to figure out which one he want best.
Oh, this nice. Hell, look at this. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this nice. Yeah, this is one we're gonna get him.
Yeah, right. Go ahead.
Verse 41. And you shall keep it a feast unto Yahweh 7 days in the year. It shall be a statute forever in your generations. You shall celebrate it in the 7th month. You shall dwell in booths 7 days. All that are Israelite born shall dwell in booths. That your generations may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths, when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. I am Yahweh your Elohim.
And I think that part is also taken out of context. Go ahead.
And Moshe declared unto the children of Israel the feast of Yahweh.
Now, read the definition for this booths.
Booths, from H5521, Sukkah. Feminine of H5520, a hut or lair. Booth, cottage, covert, pavilion, tabernacle.
That's the key word. Go ahead.
Tent.
Now, because it is made synonymous with tent, this is how somehow it has got pushed into a wilderness event. Now, guys in the back, go to the next graphic. Now, the wilderness, we have to remember, was a place of turmoil and separation. But somehow Jake has turned this into a camping trip and a party. If we think back, when Yahshua told Joshua, I hear the sound of war in the camp. Moshe said, it is not the sound of war I hear, but the sound of joy and mirth do I hear. So the people who were partying in the wilderness were slaughtered by the priests then, and so it is even to this day. The only difference is the death is spiritual and not nature and not natural. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 3. They wasn't in the wilderness. You know, when people say, okay, they was in the wilderness and they was setting up tabernacles. They were stuck in the wilderness for 40 years. They wasn't there because they wanted to be there. They couldn't leave. That is not something that we're supposed to desire. There's something that we have to consider in what happened within that wilderness. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 3, and we're going to read verses 9 through 17.
When your fathers tempted me, proved me, and saw my works 40 years, wherefore I was grieved with that generation, and said, they do always error in their heart, and they have not known my ways.
Right. So here it is. They're stuck out there those 40 years because of disobedience. Go ahead.
So I swear in my anger, they shall not enter into my rest. Take heed, brethren, lest there be in any of you an evil heart of unbelief in departing from the living Elohim. But exhort one another daily, while it is called today.
Pause. If you exhort one another while it is called today, you are helping build one another up in the word, not helping teach each other strange doctrines. Because it may be a situation where you are held responsible for the misleading of somebody else. To say if the blind lead the blind, they both gonna fall into a ditch. Don't think it's some innocency in that. No, you got blood on your hands. So when people say, "Well, I was following my pastor," right? He gonna be in the same hole you in. When my elder died, some dude came up and we knew we was in trouble when he played Hebrew Simon Says.
Simon Says, stand up. Now stand up. I didn't say Simon Says.
I said, oh, this dude here crazy as a cat. This dude here, he out of... Right? He was exercising his power. And we told the people, hey, man, y'all might not want to keep following that dude. He said, no, he is the official leader. Lost their houses, all their stuff. Right. Now they realize it when all their stuff gone. See, hindsight is always 20/20. You know, after you get in the accident, you can say,
You know what? I should have turned left. I probably should have turned left.
yeah, it's easy to say now that your car's mangled up. But can you make that decision while you're in the process? That's where the spiritual growth has to come in. We all gonna fall. If you don't think you're gonna fall, you in the wrong life. You're not in the wrong place. You're in the wrong life. All us gonna fall. The question is, what you gonna do after that? That's the question. Ain't no question about Cephas was the rock on which the church was formed. Yahshua told him, you gonna deny me?
Not me. No, not me, because I love you more than MD people here. You better believe that. They don't know love like I know love and the love I got for you.
Right. He was with him. I don't know the man. That was him. I told you. I said I don't know him. No. That's definitely him. Look here, mother sucker. Now he's saying all kind of stuff out of his mouth now. Right. But that was the one who loved him the most, who said, I ain't never gonna fall. Yahshua protected him from his fall before he fell. Not only are you gonna fall, but you're gonna do this several times. So I'm gonna go ahead and cover you before you do it. But then what happened afterwards? His heart tore him up. mean he had a conscience. That's the thing Israel be missing. the conscience part of what happens afterward. Where's your conscience? You should be feeling some kind of way afterwards. It's like the folks that just run over somebody and just sit there and look. Uh-oh.
Time you get out of here.
Where your conscience at? You ain't. Where's the conscience? There's no conscience whatsoever. Situations gonna happen. But what do we do after that? See, we can't keep making the same mistakes. We are going to make mistakes. What you need to do is make sure it's a different one.
I ain't saying I ain't gonna make no mistakes, but I just ain't gonna make that one right there. Well, I'm done with that one.
I may make another one. But I can't keep going back to Yahweh for the same stuff.
Yahweh, I was back over Keisha's house.
I thought we talked about this, man.
But Yahweh, she just be calling me. I just
Read, man.
Lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin. For we are made partakers of the Mashiach, if we hold the beginning of our confidence steadfast unto the end. While it is said today, if you will hear his voice, harden not your hearts, as in the provocation. For some, when they had heard, did provoke, howbeit not all that came out of Egypt by Moshe. But with whom was he grieved 40 years? Was it not with them that had sinned, whose carcasses fell in the wilderness?
Right, their carcasses fell in the wilderness. They died. Now all of a sudden our holy day has turned into a camping trip where they singing and partying and dancing. The same thing that they were doing when Moshe had them killed. They were sitting there partying. Moshe said, no, brother, that's not war out here. They dancing. And when he got down there, he said, who on Yahweh's side? I am. Take your sword out. Right. I think that part of the story we want to forget. See? So folks inviting you to go Shema in the wilderness, they trying to get you killed. They ain't got no business teaching nobody. Read, man. Let's go to Revelation chapter 12. This ain't nothing new. Everything under the sun, it's the same thing. We do the same things over and over. Start that at verse 1.
Revelations chapter 12 and verse 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth.
All right, so this is Israel and the 12 tribes. Go ahead.
And pain to be delivered.
Mm-hmm.
And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head.
So the adversary, the devil, then puts together his earthly men to come and attack the woman of Israel. Go ahead.
And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven.
Right. So his revolt in heaven is causing the angels to come with him, at least a portion of them. Go ahead.
And did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born.
So now they're trying to make sure that Yahshua is killed before he can become the King of Kings. Go ahead.
And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto Elohim and to his throne.
So after all of the things, after his birth, death, resurrection, he has to go unto that throne. This portion has now taken place. Now get to this.
And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared of Elohim, that they should feed her there 1,260 days.
3.5 years. Go ahead.
And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels.
So the woman, Israel, is in the wilderness hiding from destruction. Jake is partying and singing songs. Then This is witness protection. Lucifer trying to kill you. Read, man.
And prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil, and Satan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, Now is come salvation, and strength, and the kingdom of our Elohim, and the power of his Mashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our Elohim day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and you that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great anger, because he knows that he has but a short time.
And who is he most angry with? Israel. Okay? So you got a hitman who hate everybody, but he hate you the most. Go ahead.
And when the dragon saw that he was cast onto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child.
The woman that brought forth the man-child is Israel. So the people that he want to persecute is you. Go ahead.
And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she's nourished for a time, and times, and half a time, from the face of the serpent.
So the wilderness is a hiding place from the adversary, the devil. We ain't out there partying and dancing. He's trying to kill you. Go ahead.
And you know, you look at the wilderness, it's always that escape from something, because the first wilderness journey was the escape from Pharaoh and the Egyptians.
Right. It was only 11 days. It turned into 40 years because we couldn't follow instrucciones. That's why it turned into 40 years. It was 11 days, man. Go ahead.
And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the dragon was angry with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Elohim, and have the testimony of Yahshua the Mashiach.
So that we will understand that although some things may sound really cute on the internet, people are trying to get you killed. And they may not even know that they're trying to get you killed. They don't know. Maybe they know, maybe they don't. But when everything just sounds good, you got to ask yourself some questions. Exodus chapter 25, and let's read verses 1 through 9. Somebody tell you, hey, man, look, they got a house over here, $400,000 house. You can get it for $25,000. You should automatically say, something don't sound right about that right there. That sound that too good to be true. Sound like you about to lose $25,000. That would sound like to me. Cause who in their right mind gonna sell a $400,000 house for $25,000? If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And after you get had, you have to ask yourself,
Now, how did I get had?
because you were looking for something for nothing. You were looking for an easy route. That's how Lucifer pull you in every time. It's something in you that he used to get you. You got to find out what that is, because that's a hole in your armor, and go fix that. So how did he get me? How did I get had like that? How was I done in? Right. Find it, fix it. I don't care if you got the duct tape. Put some super glue and some doggone baking soda on there. It'll turn hard as a rock. Fix that right now. It'll take care of that business. You ain't never done that, super glue and baking soda? Yeah, I watched it on the internet. They fix chips and airplane the rotors when they get messed up. Instead of redoing the whole thing, they put baking soda, put the super glue. It make a chemical compound hard as a rock. You got to sand it off at that point. It is off the chain. So when you talk about you got a hole in your armor, you got to fix it. You got to take care of that. Because you can't turn around and get had again. And if you get had again like that, now Yahweh calling you back to the office. Let me talk to you.
Well, hold on, Yahweh.
No. See, that done happened before. You had enough time. You knew what a hole was. All right? You was supposed to fix this hole. Ain't no second time. Fix the hole. Go ahead, brother.
Exodus chapter 25 and verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring me an offering. Of every man that gives it willingly with his heart, you shall take my offering. And this is the offering which you shall take of them, gold and silver and brass and blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen and goat's hair and ram skins dyed red and badger skins and shittim wood, oil for the light, spices for anointing oil and for sweet incense, onyx stones and stones to be set in the ephod and in the breastplate. And let them make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among them, according to all that I show you, after the pattern of the tabernacle and the pattern of all the instruments thereof, even so shall you make it.
So we have to, first of all, understand that the children of Israel were to provide to make this tabernacle. It was the children of Israel that were going to give these offerings to do this. Now, Yahweh had provided for them on the way out and said, borrow from the Egyptians all this gold and raiment and all of these things. He was already giving them the stuff for them to make an offering. But he still said, do it of a willing heart. But he had already gave it to them. But what if your heart said, no, this is all my stuff?
No, I got this from the Egyptians. I deserve to have every last bit of this. I worked so hard in Egypt. It's my stuff. I'm not giving this stuff to Yahweh.
Right. Right. Read definition for tabernacle, bro.
From H4908, Mishkan. From H7931, a residence, including a shepherd's hut, the lair of animals, figuratively, the grave, also the temple, specifically the tabernacle, properly its wooden walls, dwelleth, dwelling place, habitation, tabernacle, tent.
Tent. So then a lot of times, because we see some of the same various things, we kind of connect things that are not connected in that manner. Let's go to Joshua chapter 18. See, when we get right down to it, the tabernacle was a tent itself. Understand, they had to take it down and move it. Everywhere the Spirit moved, they had to move. It was a tent. But see, if you don't really understand that, and then you go to listening to the wrong individuals, now you're off on the left turn. Joshua chapter 18, and we're going to read verses 1 through 10.
And the whole congregation of the children of Israel assembled together at Shiloh, and set up the tabernacle of the congregation there.
So, the tabernacle was where?
Shiloh.
Shiloh. Go ahead.
And the land was subdued before them. And there remained among the children of Israel 7 tribes, which had not yet received their inheritance. And Yahshua said unto the children of Israel, How long are you slack to go to possess the land, which Yahweh Elohim of your fathers has given you?
Right. Even though Yahweh give you something, you still got to go and get it. See, there's some things that Yahweh will present and lay out to you. That may be your first time. He ain't going to keep dealing with you like that. He may tell you something else. All right, I already showed you that I'm with you. Okay, now you see that right there? That's yours. Go get it. But Yahweh, is somebody standing there? Yeah, go move them. But Yahweh, they got weapons. All right, yeah, go take their weapon. That's your stuff, though. That's mine. That's yours, boy. Go get it. You anointed that way you came. Say you the king. All right. All right, now go get it. Yeah, but wait a minute. I got one question. Saul's still over there. Yeah, but you're the king. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Wait. One question. But Saul has a crown thing and a scepter. So he's kind of ruling right now. Yeah, I know, but you're my king. Okay. So what's gonna happen with him? Right. Yahweh gave you something. Still gotta go get it. Go ahead.
That's the problem. A lot of us are afraid to claim what is ours.
Ah, say that, my Jamaican buddy. Say that. Go ahead, man.
Verse 4, give out from among you 3 men for each tribe, and I'll send them, and they shall rise and go through the land and describe it according to the inheritance of them, and they shall come again to me. And they shall divide it into 7 parts. Yehuda shall abide in their coast on the south, and the house of Joseph shall abide in their coast on the north. You shall therefore describe the land into 7 parts, and bring the description hither to me, that I may cast lots for you here before Yahweh our Elohim. But the Levites have no part among you, for the priesthood of Yahweh is their inheritance.
Right. They can't just sit in one land. They are the priests. They have to be spread out to be everywhere the people are. And if you don't understand that, you got people who are moving the whole congregation or wherever their gatherings all over the place. No, the priests move where the people are. They don't just keep moving the whole gathering. There are priests in various locations so that they would be near those people. Go ahead.
And Gad and Reuben and half the tribe of Manasseh have received their inheritance beyond Jordan on the east, which Moshe the servant of Yahweh have given them. And the men arose and went away, and Yahshua charged them that went to describe the land, saying, Go and walk through the land, and describe it, and come again to me, that I may here cast lots for you before Yahweh in Shiloh.
So if he's casting lots before Yahweh in Shiloh, the tabernacle is in Shiloh, so the place where Yahweh chose to place his name at this time is where?
Shiloh.
Okay, so you don't get to go in the woods and hang out. The place where Yahweh placed his name is in Shiloh. Go ahead.
And the men went and passed through the land, and described it by cities into 7 parts in a book, and came again to Yahshua, to the host at Shiloh. And Yahshua cast lots for them in Shiloh before Yahweh. And there Yahshua divided the land onto the children of Israel according to their divisions.
All right, let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 1. See, there are certain things that you got to go in several different places so that you get a clear understanding, because honestly, in the beginning of my walk, I didn't really understand the part of like what Shiloh was and stuff like that. My elder had been teaching for 40 years. Some of the stuff, I mean, I missed. He was on another page by that time. He was, and then, I mean, but if you went to him and asked a question, which is what people don't do, they just lean to their own understanding. If you go and ask a question, and then you'll go and he'll just start explaining stuff. Like, man, why you didn't say that? He said, I did like 27 years ago. Oh. Yeah, I had to figure that out. Yeah, you have been kind of doing this for a minute now, huh? Right. 1 Samuel chapter 1, and let's read verses 9 through 24.
So Hannah rose up after they had eaten in Shiloh, and after they had drunk. Now Eli the priest sat upon a seat by a post of the temple of Yahweh.
So Eli the priest, the temple of Yahweh, Hannah, all in Shiloh. Go ahead.
And she was in bitterness of soul, and prayed unto Yahweh, and wept sore.
So she's in bitterness of soul, and she does and takes her petition unto the place where Yahweh chose to place his name there, which is in Shiloh. Go ahead.
And she vowed a vow, and said, O Yahweh of hosts, if you will indeed look on the affliction of your handmaid, and remember me, and not forget your handmaid, but will give unto your handmaid a man-child, then I will give him unto Yahweh all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come upon his head.
Because she is bitter about not having a child, she then brings her petition to the priest or to the temple in Shiloh and say, I want a man child so much that if you give me one, I get him back. I just need to have one. I ain't even got to keep him. Just give me one and I'm going to get him back. That's a place right there. Go ahead.
And it came to pass, as she continued praying before Yahweh, that Eli marked her mouth. Now Hannah, she spake in her heart, only her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. Therefore Eli thought she had been drunken. And Eli said unto her, How long will you be drunken? Put away your wine from you.
Now, why would he automatically come to that conclusion? Because he know Israel. Go ahead.
And Hannah answered and said, No, my master, I am a woman of a sorrowful spirit. I have drunken neither wine nor strong drink, but have poured out my soul before Yahweh. Count not your handmaid for a daughter of Belial, for out of the abundance of my complaint and grief have I spoken hitherto. Then Eli answered and said, Go in peace, and the Elohim of Israel grant you your petition that you has asked of him.
Right. See, she in bitterness of soul, she have gone and made, I think some people hear this part where she has made a prayer. You know the part that people miss? She entered into covenant. See, entering into covenant with Yahweh means that you are stepping first. You are then promising to do some things beforehand. You are then binding your soul to that particular thing. We like to bind ourselves when we already know all the particulars. That's not really a sacrifice, because you know everything about it. She says, look, if you give me this, I will do this. That's a covenant. This is not just a prayer. People hear prayer, they miss the part of the covenant. So when people are out talking about they teaching and they doing all of these things, what you need to ask, I'm sorry, are you in covenant with Yahweh? Have you entered into a covenant to do this, what you're doing? Right? Read, bro.
And she said, Let your handmaid find grace in your sight. So the woman went her way, and did eat, and her countenance was no more sad. And they rose up in the morning early and worshipped.
Stop, brother. I'm sorry. Her countenance was no more sad. She hadn't got it yet, though, right? Okay. Because she ain't just, get through praying and then a baby just crawled out. No. You know what I'm saying? That's not what happened. That's not what happened. Go ahead.
But in the whole situation, what that pressure of relieving her soul, getting that thing out of her, and laying it on Yahweh's altar.
And that's some of what causes us our issue, because we carrying around some things that should be dropped at Yahweh's altar. So instead of dropping it at Yahweh's altar, we drop it with our friends. We drop it with our mama. We talking to our sister, who all together collectively know not a damn thing. But we keep talking to all these people. They can't help you. Half of them worship the adversary of the devil anyway. So you're going to talk to one of the devil's little cornbread cousins and you think that they're going to help you. They can't help you. Read, man.
Verse 19. And they rose up in the morning early and worshipped before Yahweh, and returned, and came to their house to Ramah. And Elkanah knew Hannah his wife, and Yahweh remembered her. Wherefore it came to pass, when the time was come about after Hannah had conceived, that she bare a son, and called his name Samuel, saying, Because I've asked of him of Yahweh. And the man Elkanah and all his house went up to offer unto Yahweh the yearly sacrifice and his vow.
Right. He went to go fulfill the commandments and do that same thing that they have to do every year. Go ahead.
But Hannah went not up, for she said unto her husband, I will not go up until the child be weaned, and then I will bring him, that he may appear before Yahweh.
He may do what?
Appear before Yahweh.
Okay, so he's going to make his appearance. Go ahead.
And there abide forever.
And
And Elkanah, her husband, said unto her,
Now you know, Jake, this will be time for our renegotiation. So first we like,
I will give him to you all the days of his life, and no razor shall come on his head. He's going to have the prettiest locks you ever did see. Yes, he is.
then after you get born,
You know what, y'all? Maybe I'll give you another one. This one is so cute. Look at him. Look at those cheeks.
right. This is where we start renegotiating. Right. That's why there is a power in the covenant, because you agree beforehand. My elder used to say, you're going to tell Yahweh what you're going to do. If you ain't, you just ain't got to that level yet. Don't worry about it. You get there. Go ahead.
And Elkanah, her husband, said unto her, Do what seems you good. Tarry until you have weaned him. Only Yahweh establish his word. So the woman abode and gave her son suck until she weaned him.
Okay. Elkanah seemed like a real smooth dude right there. You know, so you got to back up what Elkanah did. All right, go ahead and do your thing. Only let Yahweh be done right. In other words, look here now. You know what done came out your mouth, right? So one way or another, we taking this boy up here. You do understand that, right? So Elkanah gonna be passive as long as passive is allowed to be. But if this thing go too long, I'm grabbing that boy and I'm taking that boy up to that temple. You know that stuff that came out your mouth? That's where we going. But I'm gonna be cool for right now, though. All right, baby, go ahead and do your thing. As long as Yahweh's word is fulfilled, I'm cool. So you ain't got to do it right now. But we got a trip to make sooner or later, right? Okay, all right, smooches. Go ahead.
It also goes to show that with his power, he did not disannul that vow.
Nope, he did not. He knew the bitterness of his wife's heart. A man that know his wife can look at the bitterness in her heart by looking at her face. Sometimes we ask a stupid question. Baby, what's wrong with you? You already know what the hell wrong with her. Read, man.
So the woman abode and gave her son suck until she weaned him. And when she had weaned him, she took him up with her, with 3 bullocks and 1 ephah of flour and a bottle of wine, and brought him unto the house of Yahweh in Shiloh, and the child was young. And they slew a bullock and brought the child to Eli. And she said, O my master, as your soul lives, my master, I am the woman that stood by you here, praying unto Yahweh. For this child I prayed, and Yahweh has given me my petition which I asked of him. Therefore also I have lent him to Yahweh. As long as he lives, he shall be lent to Yahweh. And he worshipped Yahweh there.
Right. Now Eli ends up training this child. Eli ends up basically raising this child. And he ends up being Eli's replacement. Eli's replacement should have been one of his sons, but they were wicked. So you see how Yahweh is using one thing to take care of something else. Sometimes the things you go through ain't all about you. Yahweh was replacing, knowing that Eli's sons is wicked. They sleeping with all the women at the door. They taking the offering before they even have time to cook it. Give it to me raw. What's wrong with you, man? Y'all crazy. Standing at the door hollering at everybody. Yeah, Shabbat Shalom. Peace, my sister. Come here, let me talk to you. Right. But he ain't stop them. They still at the door. So Yahweh know I can't use them. But I tell you what, this little woman that's in bitterness of heart. Yeah. And what other woman gonna offer up their firstborn? See, man, boy, let's go to Psalms chapter 7. Go ahead, bro.
And even with Samuel being raised, he's seen all this stuff too.
Yes, he is. He is seeing it. Even to the point where when it comes down to it, when Yahweh starts talking to Samuel, he don't even want to tell Eli. Because he respects Eli. He love him. This man has raised him like a father. He's with this man more than he's with his own father. So when Yahweh said, hey, I'm going to do this to Eli. See, this is that part where I be telling people where every time they believe Yahweh talk to them, it's the nicest stuff ever. And it's always got something to do with them. Yahweh comes and deals with Samuel, and he's telling him, you know the man that you love the most? I'm going to kill him. You know what that's got to do to you? This is the revelation that he's getting. I got to go tell this man, who is a priest, who has raised me my entire life, that you about to kill his sons and him too? This is the revelation that he gets from Yahweh. So all these people that get all these happy messages, I don't know where they're getting those from. Because Yahweh will give you something that make you go in the bathroom and cry. So I don't know where all these happy messages come from. But this is how this man gets introduced to Yahweh. I'm going to kill the man that raised you. Huh? And then Eli make him tell me, boy, don't you hold back a word. Tell me what Yahweh said. He don't want to do it. Right. Psalm 78, and let's read verses 50 through 72.
He made a way to his anger. He spared not their soul from death, but gave their life over to the pestilence, and smote all the firstborn in Egypt, the chief of their strength in the tabernacles of Ham.
In the tabernacles of Ham, letting you know that these were Africans that our people were amongst. So if we hid among Africans, how we going to be lily white with blue eyes? You know they're going to be the easiest child to find? They can go down there and hide with the Egyptians. You know how easy it's going to be to find? Excuse me, man. Y'all seen a little white dude with a perm that eyes as blue as the sea? Yeah, he right down there, down the street, down there. Joseph, I'll go down there. He'd have been dead before he got to middle school. He'd been gone. Done deal. But then when you're looking for somebody and they look like everybody there, oh, it's going to be harder to find them. Because they look just like everybody else. Go ahead.
But made his own people to go forth like sheep, and guided them in the wilderness like a flock. And he led them unsafely, so that they fared not, but the sea overwhelmed their enemies. And he brought them to the border of his sanctuary, even to this mountain, which his right hand had purchased. He cast out the heathen also before them, and divided them an inheritance by line, and made the tribes of Israel to dwell in their tents. Yet they tempted and provoked the Most High Elohim, and kept not his testimonies.
Right. They are prolonged in staying in these tents because they won't follow instructions. Go ahead.
But turned back, and dealt unfaithfully like their fathers. They were turned aside like a deceitful bow. For they provoked him to anger with their high places, and moved him to jealousy with their graven images. When Elohim heard this, he was angry, and greatly abhorred Yisrael, so that he forsook the tabernacle of Shiloh, the tent which he placed among men.
I'm sorry. So Shiloh, the tabernacle, was a tent. And it don't just stay righteous because it was built in righteousness. The day that you decide to go off key, you take all your righteousness and throw it away. See, that's one of those Sunday morning things that we got. There's nothing you can do to lose your salvation. That comes from people who ain't reading the book. Go ahead.
Verse 61. And delivered his strength into captivity, and his glory into the enemy's hand. He gave his people over also unto the sword, and was angry with his inheritance. The fire consumed their young men, and their maidens were not given to marriage. Their priests fell by the sword, and their widows made no lamentation. Then Elohim awaked as one out of sleep, and like a mighty man that shouteth by reason of wine, and he smote his enemies in the hinder parts. He put them to a perpetual reproach. Moreover, he refused the tabernacle of Yosef, and chose not the tribe of Ephraim, but chose the tribe of Yehudah, the Mount Zion, which he loved.
Right. So now the priesthood was opened up. Yehudah then provided a man for which the priesthood and the kingship could then be merged. That's the part that people don't understand when they all of a sudden dealing with the Melchizedek priesthood. What they don't understand is Yahweh was mixing two totally different offices. The priesthood was separated from the kings so that there would be a balance of power. What he did when Yeshua came along is he mixed the two together. That's how you have a God, King, High Priest. Go ahead, brother.
And he built his sanctuary like high palaces, like the earth which he has established forever. He chose David also his servant, and took him from the sheepfolds. From following the ewes great with young, he brought him to feed Jacob his people, and Israel his inheritance. So he fed them according to the integrity of his heart, and guided them by the skillfulness of his hands.
All right, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 7. I'll start that at verse 1.
The word that came to Jeremiah from Yahweh, saying, Stand in the gate of Yahweh's house, and proclaim there this word, and say, Hear the word of Yahweh, all you of Yehudah, that enter in at these gates to worship Yahweh. Thus said the Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, Amend your ways and your doings, and I will cause you to dwell in this place. Trust you not in lying words, saying, The temple of Yahweh, the temple of Yahweh, the temple of Yahweh are these. For if you thoroughly amend your ways and your doings, if you thoroughly execute judgment between a man and his neighbor, if you oppress not the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, and shed not innocent blood in this place, neither walk after other gods to your hurt, then will I cause you to dwell in this place, in the land that I gave to your fathers forever and ever.
Now, consider the position that Jeremiah has. The people are being told, if you thoroughly amend your ways, then you will be allowed to stay in the place. They're like, I'm already staying in the place, man. Get out of here, bro. What are you talking about? We already here. They don't understand that they're about to lose it. And it's hard to talk to people when they got something beforehand. See, that's the hardiness of Jacob. I already got the stuff. What you talking about, man? I live in a fine house. I got a fine vehicle. What are you talking about? You need to fix your ways. What you talking about, man? Until the stuff start going away. It's hard to talk to Israel when we sitting on high. Go ahead.
Behold, you trust in lying words that cannot profit. Will you steal, murder, and commit adultery, and swear falsely, and burn incense unto Baal, and walk after other gods whom you know not, and come and stand before me in this house, which is called by my name, and say, We're delivered to do all these abominations? In this house, which is called by my name, is this house, which is called by my name, become a den of robbers in your eyes? Behold, even I have seen it, says Yahweh. But go you now on to my place, which was in Shiloh, where I set my name at the first.
Okay, the place was in Shiloh. Yeah, see, after you start dealing with wickedness, Yahweh takes his name off of it. See, this is something that we got to understand. So, I'm just not some dude who like hollering at people. No, if certain things I let happen, then Yahweh remove his name. That ain't happening under my watch. Go ahead.
And see what I did to it for the wickedness of my people Israel. And now, because you have done all these works, says Yahweh, and I spake unto you, rising up early and speaking, but you heard not. I called you, but you answered not. Therefore will I do unto this house, which is called by my name, wherein you trust, and unto the place which I gave to you and to your fathers, as I have done to Shiloh. And I will cast you out of my sight, as I have cast out all your brethren, even the whole seed of Ephraim. Therefore pray not you for this people, neither lift up cry nor prayer for them, neither make intercession to me, for I will not hear you.
Right. You pray for them, you just wasting your time. Because they've decided in their hearts that they're going to follow after the thoughts of their own heart. And when you get to that point, you've gotten yourself in a really bad situation. That means it is going on for a while. See, Yahweh just don't do that if you just do wrong. No. Now, Yahweh is full of forgiveness and mercy. No. After it goes on for a while and can't nobody talk to you, now you at that point where can't nobody talk for you. Y'all like, I don't want to hear it. Don't come talking to me about them. I don't want to hear it. Samuel was the first of the great prophets. He went to try to go talk for Saul. Yahweh said, man, hey, don't talk to me no more about Saul. Don't bring it here. I have dealt with all the disrespect that I'm going to deal with from him. I gave him chance after chance after chance. He has a problem following instructions. I got me somebody else. Go ahead.
Seeth you not what they do in the cities of Yehuda and in the streets of Jerusalem? The children gather wood, and the fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead their dough to make cakes to the Queen of Heaven.
They got the whole family involved in this spiritual adultery. Right. Get the kids involved. Go ahead.
And to pour out drink offerings onto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger. Do they provoke me to anger? Says Yahweh. Do they not provoke themselves to the confusion of their own faces? Therefore thus said the Adonai, behold, mine anger and my fury shall be poured out upon this place, upon man and upon beast, and upon the trees of the field, and upon the fruit of the ground, and it shall burn and shall not be quenched. Thus said the Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, put your burnt offerings onto your sacrifices, and eat flesh. For I spake not unto your fathers, nor commanded them in the day that I brought them out of the land of Egypt, concerning burnt offerings or sacrifices. But this thing commanded I them, saying, obey my voice, and I'll be your Elohim, and you shall be my people, and walk you in all the ways that I have commanded you, that it may be well unto you. But they hearkened not, or inclined their ear, but walked in the counsels and in the imagination of their evil heart, and went backward and not forward.
Right, and it's hard to convince Israel that their heart is evil. When people believe that the desires of their heart are the nicest things ever. But your heart is a product of the things that you put in it. Everything you watch, everything you see, everything that comes in. If you don't have power over certain things, the wrong thing can come in there and completely destroy your heart. That's why you don't just, especially when you're dealing with being a newcomer in the word, you don't just go and watch everything. Because you have not developed the ability to knock down and figure out which things are evil and which things are slick and deceptive yet. So without you having that ability, you're taking all that in. And everybody know you got somebody in your family that you know. Don't leave the kids around them. They're not, don't let. Is the kids in there with Uncle Joe? Oh, hell no. Go in there and get them kids. Go in there and get them kids. No, he ain't quite right. He ain't quite right. Don't leave them kids in there with him. That's some stuff they should not hear. That stuff they get like 18. That stuff they gonna come out. Don't leave them kids in there. Same thing when you're dealing with this word. You get baptized. That's your birth in there. And it's hard to tell that to people because they're like, well, I'm 40 years old. You are a 40-year-old child. Okay? I 0 years old. That's what you is. So now you're 0 years old, but you on the internet learning some spiritual fornication. Right. Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 7 and verse 25. Since the day that your fathers came forth out of the land of Egypt unto this day, I have even sent unto you all my servants the prophets, daily rising up early and sending them. Yet they hearken not unto me, nor inclined their ear, but hardened their neck. They did worse than their fathers. Therefore you shall speak all these words unto them, but they will not hearken to you. You shall also call unto them, but they will not answer you.
Go ahead and talk to them, but they're not going to hear you. Go ahead and do this stuff, but they're not going to listen to you. Go ahead.
But you shall say unto them, this is a nation that obeys not the voice of Yahweh their Elohim, nor receive correction.
Do you understand that? It ain't Yahweh talking to him, it's his servant. But they are disobeying the voice of Yahweh, but they're hearing it from the voice of a man. See, that's hard for Israel at times. See? Because we're thinking about the man that we see and not from where that comes from. And don't let us find a fault in the man. Whoa! We don't think we got to listen to nothing there. No, No, I found that brother. Oh, that brother spitting some flowers. We don't have to listen to nothing. You say no more. Right. Go ahead.
Truth is perished and is cut off from their mouth. Cut off your hair, O Jerusalem, and cast it away, and take up a lamentation on high places, for Yahweh has rejected and forsaken the generation of his anger. For the children of Yehudah have done evil in my sight, says Yahweh. They have set their abominations in the house which is called by my name to pollute it.
Mm-hmm.
And they have built the high places of Tophet, which is in the valley of the son of Hinnom, to burn their sons and their daughters in the fire, which I commanded them not, neither came it into my heart. Therefore, behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that it shall no more be called Tophet, nor the valley of the son of Hinnom, but the valley of slaughter, for they shall bury in Tophet till there be no place.
Mm-hmm.
And the carcasses of this people shall be meat for the fowls of the heaven, and for the beasts of the earth, and none shall fray them away.
Meaning that there should not be a proper burial. When they hung our people and they left them on the trees, the birds would come and pick at their flesh. When you leave anything dead out, here come the vultures. Because vultures can't kill nothing. They're the biggest, goofiest birds you have ever seen in your life. They have zero skill. They can't hunt. They just big and goofy. So they just wait for something to die. So when you see, as you're driving down the road, especially heading to the country, when you see the vultures, you already know something dead over here. Because that's all they do. Go ahead.
Then will I cause to cease from the cities of Yehudah and from the streets of Jerusalem the voice of mirth and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride, for the land shall be desolate.
You know, even in that understanding the vulture, you see how Yahweh has created this whole circle, that this animal cannot hunt. But then when something dies, there's something that is set to go and eat the decaying carcass. That's what it was created to do. Eat decaying carcass. It constantly cleanses his earth. Give it enough time, Jake gonna find a way to eat that too. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 26.
This is a delicacy. Yeah.
And all you gotta do is give us a good name. Just that vulture. What?
Yeah, just put it in some duck sauce. Yeah.
Okay. Good luck on that one. Jeremiah chapter 26. And verses 1 through 24. Yeah.
In the beginning of the reign of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Yehudah, came this word from Yahweh, saying, Thus said Yahweh, stand in the court of Yahweh's house, and speak unto all the cities of Yehudah, which come to worship in Yahweh's house. All the words that I command you to speak unto them, diminish not a word.
Don't you take not one word away. Yeah, but this gonna hurt somebody's feeling. You don't say it, I'm gonna hurt your feeling. So when you go to all these people and all they have something is nice to say, they're getting everybody in the room killed. Why? Because those people are not getting an opportunity to repent. They gotta have an opportunity to repent. And how they gonna have an opportunity to repent if you in there trying to wee-wee poo-poo them all day? Is it wee-wee? Is it God loves you? Yes, he does. Is it wee-wee? Yes. We're gonna romanticize this book. Let's read these Psalms, my brother. Yeah. going to repent? You got candlelight Bible readings? Right. Okay. Let's see how many people you get to repent that way. Read.
If so be they will hearken, and turn every man from his evil way, that I may repent me of the evil which I purpose to do unto them because of the evil of their doings.
Right. If so be they will hearken. And if they turn, then I will repent me of the evil that I have already said that I was going to do. But I change my mind if you change your way. Go ahead.
And you shall say unto them, Thus saith Yahweh, if you will not hearken to me, to walk in my law, which I have set before you, to hearken to the words of my servants the prophets, whom I have sent unto you, both rising up early and sending them, but you have not hearkened, then will I make this house like Shiloh, and will make this city a curse to all the nations of the earth.
Once again, he keeps going back to Shiloh. Yeah, my name was there, but my name don't stay there just because it was once there. When you do evil, when you get out of line, I remove my name. Then it's just a building. Go ahead.
So the priest and the prophets and all the people heard Jeremiah speaking these words in the house of Yahweh. Now it came to pass, when Jeremiah had made an end of speaking all that Yahweh had commanded him to speak unto all the people, that the priests and the prophets and all the people took him, saying, You shall surely die.
That's Israel right there. See, you won't see Israel. That's Israel. The brothers speak the truth. They said, oh, you're going to die. Why? Because he wasn't in there wee poo-pooing them. See? Because he wasn't sitting there speaking all the niceties. He's saying what thus says Yahweh. Look, listen to this. If you turn, you have an opportunity to live. They were like, no, we need to kill him. No, you got an opportunity to live. All you got to do is stop telling us what Yahweh said. And we'll let you live. How about that? Go ahead.
Why have you prophesied in the name of Yahweh, saying, This house shall be like Shiloh, and this city shall be desolate without an inhabitant? And all the people were gathered against Jeremiah in the house of Yahweh.
Now, wait. In the house of Yahweh. But we're going to kill his servant. Yeah, we're going to kill his servant. See? Because he's saying some stuff we don't like. Right. But the people who getting us killed is the ones who saying all the nice stuff. Matter of fact, that's what we're saying. I've had people tell me that if they hear all the things that they want to hear, they send more money. That's Jay. Go ahead.
When the princes of Yehudah heard these things, they came up from the king's house unto the house of Yah, and sat down in the entry of the new gate of Yahweh's house. Then spake the priests and the prophets unto the princes and to all the people, saying, This man is worthy to die, for he has prophesied against this city, as you have heard with your ears.
Now you see why Yahweh said, don't you change a word. Say what I put in your mouth, you better say every bit of it. Go ahead.
Then spake Jeremiah unto all the princes and to all the people, saying, Yahweh sent me to prophesy against this house and against this city all the words that you have heard. Therefore now amend your ways and your doings.
Now, the righteous have to be as bold as a lion. They done already threatened him with death. And he repeats the very thing that they said they're going to kill him for. You must die. Yahweh has sent me to prophesy against this city. Therefore, amend your ways. Man, didn't we tell you that we were about to kill you for saying that in the first time? How you going to repeat it? Right. Because the righteous are as bold as a lion. Go ahead.
Therefore now amend your ways and your doings, and obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim, and Yahweh will repent of the evil that he has pronounced against you. As for me, behold, I am in your hand. Do with me as seems good and meet unto you. But know you for certain, that if you put me to death, you shall surely bring innocent blood upon yourselves, and upon this city, and upon the inhabitants thereof. For of a truth Yahweh hath sent me unto you to speak all these words in your ears. Then said the princes and all the people unto the priests and to the prophets, This man is not worthy to die, for he has spoken to us in the name of Yahweh or Elohim.
So people have to then convince them not to kill him. This is what the truth gets you. Go ahead.
And this is the priests and the prophets that's willing to kill him.
Right. So you know this is what the people are following because they think that, hey, these people are leaders. Everybody that claim they're a leader ain't worth following. Go ahead.
Then rose up certain of the elders of the land, and spake to all the assembly of the people, saying, Micaiah the Maharshatite prophesied in the days of Hezekiah king of Yehudah, and spake to all the people of Yehudah, saying, Thus said Yahweh of hosts, Zion shall be plowed like a field, and Jerusalem shall become heaps, and the mountains of the house as the high places of a forest. Did Hezekiah king of Yehudah and all of Yehudah put him at all to death?
Mm-hmm.
Did he not fear Yahweh, and besought Yahweh, and Yahweh repented him of the evil which he had pronounced against them? Thus might we procure a great evil against our souls.
Right. So then sometimes it becomes necessary to go back and remind Israel of their own lives. Wait a minute, man. Let's go back in our history. Hold on, brother. Y'all about to kill this man in the house of Yahweh for giving us the words of Yahweh? Hold on, bro. Hold on. Go ahead.
And there was also a man that prophesied in the name of Yahweh, Uriah, the son of Shemaiah, of Kirjath-Jearim, who prophesied against this city and against this land according to all the words of Jeremiah. And when Jehoiakim the king, with all his mighty men and all the princes, heard his words, the king sought to put him to death. But when Uriah heard it, he was afraid, and fled and went into Egypt. And Jehoiakim the king sent men into Egypt, namely Elnathan the son of Akbar, and certain men with him into Egypt. And they fetched forth Uriah out of Egypt, and brought him unto Jehoiakim the king, who slew him with the sword, and cast his dead body into the graves of the common people. Nevertheless, the hand of Jehoiakim, the son of Shaphan, was with Jeremiah, that they should not give him into the hand of the people to put him to death.
You see, that's one of those things that I, will look at there. I haven't passed a whole lot of names of Uriah, but it's too many of them that done got killed. Too many of them done got killed. You know what I'm saying? I start looking at certain things. You say, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna take that name right now. There's too many people. If I keep on reading, it be like, okay, yeah, that Uriah there. Okay. Then another Uriah. You know what? Hold on. With the Uriah thing, I'm gonna have to pick me something else. Hey, do what you will. Isaiah, chapter 30. He says, chapter 30, and we're going to read verses 1 through 17. Now, once I keep reading about, death in the same name, we're gonna have to, I might have to change my name again. Look here. This is just too much here. And neither one of them were doing wrong. If you look at that now, they got killed, and neither one of them did nothing. They got killed because somebody else.
It says, chapter 30 and verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, says Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me.
Right. So, if Yahweh has the priest to do a job, he puts priests and judges in a place. When we get to a situation where we need counsel, who do we get it from? See, we go and talk to our friends and all them. They're not exercising this word. So you get information from a place that could get you killed. Yahweh said, you ain't get no counsel from me. Who told you that? When you got that information that told you to go do such and such, where you get it from? Who told you? I know I ain't tell you, because the priest didn't come to me praying about nothing. So I know I ain't tell you. So where you get the information from? Go ahead.
And they cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. That walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth.
Right. We're going to go and we're going to do such and such. And Yahweh said, so when you talk to me about where you were going? Go ahead.
To strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. for his princes were at Zoan, and his ambassadors came to Hanes. They were all ashamed of a people that could not profit them, nor be an help nor profit, but a shame and also a reproach. The burden of the beast of the south into the land of trouble and anguish, from whence come the young and old lion, the viper and fiery flying serpent. They will carry their riches upon the shoulders of young asses, and their treasures upon the bunches of camels, to a people that shall not profit them. For the Egyptians shall not help in vain.
Shall help in vain.
Pardon me, for the Egyptians shall help in vain, and to no purpose. Therefore have I cried concerning this. Their strength is to sit still.
Consider that. Say your strength is to just sit still. But you know, we got that spiritual ADD. We be download, click, click, click. Surf, click, download. That spiritual ADD got us all over the place. Sit still. Read.
You know, even with that, as long as you on the internet watching the videos, it's going to pop a next one up. Take you here, take you there, take you there.
And you're going to be so confused after a couple hours? Because each one of them got a different doctrine. You're going to pick up this thing, and then you're going to pick up that thing. And you so smart and stupid by the end of that, you just sitting there out. Read, man.
Verse 8, now go, write it before them in a table, and note it in a book, that it may be for them for the time to come forever and ever. That this is a rebellious people, lying children, children that will not hear the law of Yahweh, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things. Speak unto us smooth things.
Oh yeah,
Prophesy
say that
deceit.
what you say. See, we want Hebrew Joel Osteen. God loves ye. He loves ye. This is my Bible. There may be others like it, but there's none like this. This is my Bible. And then he closed it and set it down. Right, that's what they be looking for. But you're not gonna get that here. Read, man.
Get you out of the way. Turn aside out of the path. Cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Wherefore thus said the Holy One of Israel.
But see, that's why I got a job. Because see, Joel Osteen get a lot of money doing that right there. When you start saying this stuff right here, when you start saying the word that cut people into things that they do, they put a rusty brown penny in an envelope.
Here go your offering. You take that penny. Don't spend it all in one spot.
Right. Joel Osteen ain't got to work. These people who going from state to state with their little fornication parties, telling everybody that they keeping the Sabbath, they ain't got to work. They getting paid. Right. Teaching lies. Right. That's all right. Everybody get their day. Go ahead.
Because you despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon. Therefore this lawlessness shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. And he shall break it as the breaking of the potter's vessel that is broken in pieces. He shall not spare, so that there shall not be found in the bursting of it a sherd to take fire from the hearth, or to take water withal out of the pit. For thus said the Adonai Yah, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and in rest shall you be saved.
In returning and rest shall you be saved. Go ahead.
In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength, and you would not.
Right. We can't be still. There's got to be some kind of calmness in your spirit that you can drop that spiritual ADD. Because as long as you got a thirst, the adversary going to be willing to fill it. Let me show you something new. You ain't never heard this before. What you say, Lucifer? Come on in here. I got something new I want to teach you. Right. Go ahead.
But you said, no, for we will flee upon horses. Therefore shall you flee, and we will ride upon the swift. Therefore shall they that pursue you be swift.
So the faster you run, the faster he gonna give them an ability that's chasing you.
You said, well, I'm going to get on a motorcycle.
Yeah, he gonna get him a bigger motorcycle. We get on a plane. They're going to have a faster one. Go ahead.
1,000 shall flee at the rebuke of one. At the rebuke of 5 shall you flee, till you be left as a beacon upon the top of a mountain and as an ensign on an hill.
All right, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 5. Jeremiah chapter 5, and let's start at verse 19.
And it shall come to pass, when you shall say, Wherefore does Yahweh our Elohim all these things unto us? Then shall you answer them, Like as you have forsaken me, and served strange gods in your land, so shall you serve strangers in the land that is not yours.
Right, this is your punishment. You're living out your punishment already. Because we wouldn't serve Yahweh in truth and in spirit, now we have to serve our enemies in our enemies' land. Go ahead.
Declare this in the house of Yaakov, and publish it in Yehudah, saying, Hear now this, O foolish people, and without understanding, which have eyes and see not, you have ears and hear not. Fear you not me, says Yahweh. Will you not tremble at my presence, which have placed the sand for the bound of the sea by a perpetual decree, that it cannot pass it? And though the waves thereof toss themselves, yet can they not prevail. Though they roar, yet can they not pass over it. But this people has a revolting and a rebellious heart. They are revolted and gone. Neither say they in their heart, Let us now fear Yahweh our Elohim, that gives rain, both the former and the latter, in his season. He reserveth unto us the appointed weeks of the harvest. Your lawlessness have turned away these things, and your sins have withholden good things from you. For among my people are found wicked men. They lay wait, as he that sets snares. They set a trap. They catch men.
Right, by teaching that false doctrine. This is how they set traps and they catch men. Go ahead.
As a cage is full of birds, so are their houses full of deceit. Therefore they are become great and waxen rich.
Exactly. This is how the false leaders get money. They setting traps and snares with false word, and it makes people come in flocks and droves. People paying to go to unholy gatherings that they think are holy days. They paying per seat. You can go get wickedness for free. When you pay for wickedness, you're a backwards prostitute. That's what Yahweh said. He said they pay our whores. He said, but you whores pay your lovers. You know what kind of backwards prostitute standing on the corner? Hey, daddy, come on in. How much? Nah, I'm going to pay you. You know one thing, this is one dumb whore right here. She ain't going to make no money. Right. That's what Yahweh said about Israel. Go ahead.
You know, it's interesting. In verse 25, it says, Your sins have withholden good things from you.
You know we blame that on somebody else, though, when we don't get what we want. You know, that's somebody else's fault. But I listen to folk, man, they call, man, and they just be complaining about this person and that person. And I tell you, man, I get done with the conversation real quick. At what point are you going to deal with anything that you've done?
Well, this person did this, and then that person did that, and then such and such did this.
Oh, for real? What'd you do?
Nothing. I was just reading some Psalms.
Okay. Read, man.
Verse 28, They are waxen fat, they shine. Yea, they overpass the deeds of the wicked. They judge not the cause of the fatherless, yet they prosper.
Yet they prosper. And they have wicked judgment. Go ahead.
And the right of the needy do they not judge. Shall I not visit for these things, saith Yahweh? Shall not my soul be avenged on such a nation as this? A wonderful and a horrible thing is committed in the land. The prophets prophesy falsely, and the priests bear rule by their means. and my people love to have it so.
Israel love it. See, when it comes down to it, there's something in us that we like them wicked teachings. See, when people pick so-called role models, you have to understand something. Role models are not appointed. They are picked based on the things that each individual likes. So if a person want to be a comedian and they do nasty, dirty jokes, then they pick Richard Pryor as a role model, as their idol. If somebody want to do clean comedy, they pick Bill Cosby. But what's the common thing? Each person picks his own based on what they want. So when somebody pick a twisted, lying leader, it was something in their heart that liked that twisted, lying doctrine.
Oh, I like that. That's so smooth. Ooh, I ain't got to change nothing. Oh, my goodness. I like this. Oh, my goodness. Where you at?
Right. Right. Let's go. Did you finish that, bro?
And what will you do in the end thereof?
All right. Let's go to 2 Timothy chapter 4. Yeah.
1281.
Second Timothy chapter 4, and let's read verses 1 through 5.
I charge you therefore before Elohim and the Adonai Yahshua the Mashiach, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing and his kingdom. Preach the word, be instant in season, out of season. Reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine.
Right. So anybody who just does one thing with the word, they got a problem. Reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. See, the word is profitable for all of these things. So if you just saying one thing with the word, if everything just so happens to be a bunch of niceties, you can't be serving Yahweh. I don't know who you're serving, but I can tell you who it ain't. Go ahead.
For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall
After
they
their own lust. You check that out, according to the things that they like. Go ahead.
But after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers, having itching ears.
Boy, when that ear itch, boy, you just got, oh my God, I got to hear something new. That what that itching is. I got to hear something new. Right? And the adversary said, go on this site. You going to hear something new today? Yeah. You going to die tomorrow. But you going to hear something good today. Right. Go ahead, bro.
Not priests, but teachers.
Right. And that's what it say, doesn't it?
Yep.
Right. So it says, they shall heap to themselves mores, having itching ears. Right. Right. Go ahead, bro.
And they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned onto fables. But watch you in all things, endure afflictions, do the work of an evangelist, make full proof of your ministry.
All right, let's go to Hebrews chapter 13. Hebrews 13, and let's read verses 1 through 17.
Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 1. Let brotherly love continue. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares.
Right. And you know the word says, let a woman have power on her head because of the angels. If you have entertained an angel unaware, how you gonna know if you walking around with your head uncovered and then you walk around and an angel come up to you, but you don't know it's an angel? How you gonna know to throw your head covering on all of a sudden? What you gonna tell the angel?
Oh, no, I was at work. That was different. No, don't kill me, please. I was working.
Okay. Let's see what the angel say. And the angel holds people accountable according to how they walk in the word and how long they been in. Remember, there's a point where an angel came unto Samson, mom and daddy. That lady asked all kind of questions. The angel didn't do nothing. Same angel came to Johanan, daddy, who was a priest, and he was in the temple. That angel said, y'all gonna have a child. He asked the question, what about shall I know this shall happen? The angel said, you're gonna be stupid until it happens. How about that? Ask me another question. Go ahead. So here it is. Old man has been blessed, his wife pregnant, and they all year, and he can't talk. He's just walking around. He said, what happened? And he got to do this the whole time. Why? Because he asked the angel a question. And the angel was like, if anybody ought to know better, it should have been you. See, Yahweh holds you accountable according to how long you've been dealing with the word. So if you keep making them same mistakes that he letting you get away with now, try it again next year. Go ahead, you bad. You bad. Go ahead. Try it again. Come on, Cletus. Come on. Come on, Cletus. You're going to walk over here, but you're going to limp back. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 3. Remember them that are in bonds as bound with them, and them which suffer adversity as being yourselves also in the body.
Remember them that are in bonds as being bound with them, and them which suffer adversity as being yourselves also in the body. There is a sister who we have not seen in a while, Sister Takaya. She is here for you sisters. If you don't mind, if y'all would, embrace her with a hug. That sister is in the 3rd stage of breast cancer. She is going through a lot. And a lot of times, we think we got some problems until you look over there and find out, oh no, somebody really got real problems. So then it make you shut your little mouth, your little problems. Ain't no problems. So if y'all don't mind, sisters, if y'all could embrace her with a hug, and brothers, if you would, give her a Hebrew salute from the brothers, it would be greatly appreciated. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 4. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers Elohim will judge. Let your conversation be without covetousness, and be content with such things as you have. For he hath said, I will never leave you, nor forsake you. So that we may boldly say, the Adonai is my helper, and I'll not fear what man shall do unto me. Remember them which have the rule over you, who have spoken unto you the word of Elohim, whose faith followed, considering the end of their conversation.
Remember them which have the rule over you, who have spoken unto you the word of Elohim. Go ahead.
Yahshua the Mashiach, the same yesterday and today and forever. Be not carried about with diverse and strange doctrines.
Right. The best way to not be carried about with it is not to listen to it. Think about it when you start talking the truth to somebody who is in the world. You notice how they stop you?
I don't want to hear. Don't talk to me about. I don't want to hear nothing about no Sabbath.
Right. What do? They stop you from talking. So why are you listening to everybody? Go ahead.
For it is a good thing that the heart be established with grace, not with meats, which have not profited them that have been occupied therein. We have an altar, whereof they have no right to eat, which serve the tabernacle. For the bodies of those beasts, whose blood is brought into the sanctuary by the high priest for sin, are burnt without the camp. Wherefore Yahshua also, that he might sanctify the people with his own blood, suffered without the gate. Let us go forth therefore unto him without the camp, bearing his reproach. For here have we no continuing city, but we seek one to come.
Right. I'm just a stranger and a sojourner here. This ain't my land. I do what I got to do to survive in this land, but this ain't my place. We just passing through. Go ahead.
By him therefore let us offer the sacrifice of praise to Elohim continually, that is, the fruit of our lips giving thanks to his name. But to do good and to communicate forget not, For with such sacrifices Elohim is well pleased. Obey them that have the rule over you.
He keeps saying the same thing. Why? Because he know Israel. Obey them that have the rule over you. Go ahead.
And submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls.
They watch for your souls. So if you're dealing with a situation that the priest administers before Yahweh watches for your soul, how is it that we don't find out that people are in erroneous things until they already done? Who you were talking to before you got to that point? How you get that far down the road? Read.
As they that must give account, that they may do it with joy and not with grief, for that is unprofitable for you.
That is unprofitable for you. But let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 10. So you know when some stuff going on that ain't quite right. I've been in certain situations where I've heard brothers tell their wives, don't talk to the priest. Don't tell him this. Because they wanted it to be already in motion by the time it was found out. Second Kings chapter 10, and let's read verses 18 through 27.
And Jehu gathered all the people together, and said unto them, Ahab served Baal a little, but Jehu shall serve him much. Now therefore call unto me all the prophets of Baal, all his servants, and all his priests. Let none be wanting, for I have a great sacrifice to do to Baal.
All right, so we're going to have a party for Baal. Go ahead.
Whosoever shall be wanting, he shall not live. But Jehu did it in subtlety.
So Jehu did it in slickness. He's calling for a party for all the worshipers of Baal. So you got to be careful what parties you go to. See everybody hanging out. They like, well,
It's going to be a good hangout.
right. You may go and get hanged at the out. Okay. So you might want to be, careful where you go to hang out at. Go ahead.
To the intent that he might destroy the worshipers of Baal.
Right. Now it says he did it in subtlety. The word says, be wise as serpents, but harmless as doves. So the part where people who have tried to walk in righteousness were always underfoot was that we always try to be straight up. But the serpents ain't never straight up. But Yahweh said, be wise as serpents. So you got to be wise as a snake without being a snake. Because the snakes ain't going to run straight up. Snake ain't going to tell you the truth. Snake ain't going to tell you all their business. Snake going to always move in a circle. Snake don't move in a straight line. That's what snake move. And you try to figure out how you get across that grass that fast, he ain't got no leg. But I tell you what, he'll zip across that yard. Right. So the righteous have to learn how to operate in subtlety, like snakes, without being evil. There go your equation. That's your homework, Israel. Go ahead.
Verse 20. And Jehu said, proclaim a solemn assembly for Baal. And they proclaimed it. And Jehu sent through all Israel, and all the worshipers of Baal came, so that there was not a man left that came not. And they came into the house of Baal, and the house of Baal was full from one end to another.
Oh, man, it's standing room only at this party. This party right here good, huh, boy? Boy, they got a line getting off in here. They finna ball. For Baal. Yeah, go ahead.
And he said unto him that was over the vestry, bring forth.
Look at him, the reader phone going off. Ooh. Ooh. Yahweh don't do nothing to him, man. Go ahead, bro.
And he said unto him that was over the vestry, bring forth vestments for all the worshipers of Baal.
Oh, man, put on all the Baal clothing. Put them on them balling clothes. Let everybody put on the ball clothes. So we'll know exactly who is at this party. You know how sometimes they had an all-white party, everybody come in all white? You know who came to the party, right? So he's setting up everything, but he's doing this in slickness. All right? Now imagine you just come to hang out at this party. See? You can't go there, everybody the same. They having a Hebrew shindig, they having a little get down, and you go there and you get put down. Go ahead.
And he brought them forth vestments. And Jehu went, and Jehonadab, the son of Rechab, into the house of Baal, and said unto the worshippers of Baal, Search, and look that there be here with you none of the servants of Yahweh, but the worshippers of Baal only.
Right. First, before we get down to partying, make sure ain't none of Yahweh people up in here, because we don't want Yahweh up in here, because we about to fall for Paul up in here. So make sure you don't see no Israel up in here. Look around. Go ahead.
In the same token, we should be able to go to somewhere and be like, I know I was invited here, but I don't see none of our people in here. Let me get the heck out of here.
Uh-huh. Right. You should be able to look around and see it's some strange stuff going on here. First of all, they had to all put on the clothes to prove that they was, Baal worshipers too. See? So he going all the way out. Go ahead.
And when they went in to offer sacrifice and burnt offerings, Jehu appointed 80 men without, and said, If any of the men whom I have brought into your hands escape, he that lets him go, his life shall be for the life of him. And it came to pass, as soon as he had made an end of offering the burnt offering, that Jehu said to the guard and to the captains, Go in and slay them, let none come forth. And they smote them with the edge of the sword, and the guard and the captains cast them out, and went to the city of the house of Baal. And they brought forth the images out of the house of Baal, and burnt them. And they break down the image of Baal, and break down the house of Baal, and made it a draught house unto this day.
Anybody know what drought means? Y'all know what a drought house is?
Outhouse. Yeah.
Nah, that doo-doo. Okay? Remember, it says whatever you eat comes out in the draught. Yeah, they made it a crap house. That's what it is. So the place where they used to worship their God is now the toilet bowl. Okay? That's what they turned that into. So be careful what parties you go to hang out at, Israel. At least the angel be setting up a slaughter for the false worshipers, and you get caught in the midst. Remember, brothers, sanctify yourself against the third day. If you got to sleep on the couch, I don't care where you sleep. Take care of your business. But show up in here like you supposed to. Hey, bro, don't be having no confused look on your face back there, bro. We sanctify. You already did. Hold on, bro. Friday, you already should have done that to be here. Tonight, we'll be back tomorrow, Sunday. Do our thing. You gonna interrupt that if you go home and feeling frisky. All right? Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.